All right, welcome to Morning Mindset. I will be your host today. My name is Christian Williams. I'm a life coach, I'm a business consultant, I'm an organizational consultant, and a facilitator. And I'm also just jumped into the realm of professional speaking. So, hooray for me. I was just in LA giving a speech and at my good friend Leah's uh, event. And so let's see if I can try to carry over some of that excitement, enthusiasm, charisma from that event into this great blab of Charlene Burke from Grow Because You Know. She started this a while ago, and we wanted just to make sure that it stayed a staple in everybody's life as it has been in mine. It's definitely gotten my day off to a good start for quite a few months now. And so we develop a friendship and a partnership. We're doing a program called 16 to Success, focusing on the principles of success given by Napoleon Hill and this and other books. So I'm just really excited to be here, and it's going to be great talk, conversation. So the seat is open whenever you're ready to come in and join in. So let me tell you what we're talking about here. Your magnificent obsession, right? I know there's this phrase that goes around nowadays called OCD, right? Everyone's always like, well, I'm OCD this or that. Like it's funny, right? And it's not really. That's not really a fun condition to have, and most people who say they aren't. However, there is a good obsession you can have, a positive obsession that can actually not only change your life, but change the life of everybody connected to you and possibly the world. And so that's what he's talking about in this chapter is a developing a magnificent obsession. So I took some notes here. So let's see what he actually means by magnificent obsession. It was first coined by an author, Lloyd C. Douglas, in a novel called The Magnificent Obsession. And so the principle is obvious: to develop an obsession, a magnificent obsession to help others. To help others. I mean, that's it. Develop an obsession to help others. Share yourself without expecting a reward, payment, or commendation. And above all else, keep your good turn a secret. And if you do this, you will set in motion the powers of a universal law. For try as you will to avoid payment for your good deed, blessings and rewards will be showered upon you. Your most preciously valued possessions and your greatest powers are often necessarily invisible and intangible. No one can take them. You and you alone can share them. And the more you share, the more you can have, the more you have. And I have to say that I definitely know this is true. Um, and it's like the thought here is that there's 6 billion of us, right? Somewhere around that number, right? And we're always growing. There's more and more of us, and everyone is striving to get right, to get things and stuff. However, there is something in us. There's a reason there is, and we're all unique. We're all different. That's the other point, right? There's a lot of us, and we're all unique. We all have individual fingerprints, eye prints, voice recognition. Like there's our DNA is different, regardless of how similar our ancestral lines are. Everybody's different. Our brains think different. Our experiences of life are different. And that's the key here. It's like we have an experience of life. We have had our ups and downs. We have been affected, and we are actually have something unique to give. And that's why he's talking about this magnificent accession being that your most valued possession is actually not your bank account or your car or your house. It's actually you, right? It's your life. And you have something to give from that life, that experience to somebody else. It could be a kind word, it could just be a smile, it can be a word of encouragement. And the more that you give of this, the more that you get. It's He says, okay, now if you want to prove this to yourself by giving a smile to everyone you meet, a kind word, a pleasant response, appreciation with warmth from the heart, cheer, encouragement, hope, honor, credit, and applause, good thoughts, evidence of love for your fellow men, happiness, or a prayer for the godliness and the godly, a time for a worthy cause with eagerness. So just reading that made me feel good, right? It's like all those are like, yes, we need to do that more, right? And what is left when you share it with others will multiply and grow. And what you withhold with others will diminish and decrease and decrease. Therefore, share that which is good and desirable and withhold that which is bad and undesirable. It's like um, it's like planting seeds, right? You know, you have seeds of love, you have seeds of hope, you have seeds of compassion, you have seeds of empathy, but you also have seeds of hate and divisiveness and backbiting and you know, stabbing each other in the back. It's like, okay, which one of these seeds are you going to plant? Because you're going to get more of whatever you put out there. So why not develop an obsession to give of yourself, to give the best of yourself? And there's a idea here that I wanted to express, and I don't know, maybe I'll just tell this story here. I told it yesterday, and it seemed to resonate with some people. So, um, when about 8 years ago, I was living in Boston, and I wasn't having a good time, to say to say the least. I mean, I was having a hard time, right? I was working at a place called Labor Ready. Has anybody here ever heard of Labor Ready? Put a one down there if you have. But if you haven't, it's a day labor place. Basically, that means I had to get up at 4:30 in the morning or earlier just to get, the stars are still out. The stars are out here. I'm actually on the West Coast now. I'm in Seattle. Isn't that fun? Uh, so I get to wake everybody up with my resonating voice here. But no, the point is, okay, it's really I was had to get up super early. Had to go get on the bus to go and get to the office by 5 to sit around with a bunch of alcoholics and drunks and other people who had hard lives and hope to get a job, right? And then when you do get a job, it's normally nowhere from 6 to 8 hours, and you get somewhere from $30 to $70 a day for that work. And it's not easy work. It's like the hardest, digging ditches, uh, shoveling snow, digging holes and stuff. It's like the weirdest thing. Like I remember I was under some steps. It was hot. Those steps that go down into the basement or whatever of like a building, a skyscraper, and I just had to like dig through the concrete of the foundation for some reason. We were just digging. I don't know why we were digging, but it was hot and it was hard. We had to stay. Anyway, hard thing to do. And then anyway, that was my life for quite a few months there, and I was like, whatever. And so I had some bad habits too. So I was laying in my bed. It was October 4th, 2007. The window was cracked. I had drank a little bit too much, and so I was hot. So let the cool air in. And I heard a series of gunshots. Pow, pow, pow. And so I'm from Baltimore. When I heard that, I was like, okay, them boys out there acting stupid again. And I just rolled over and went to sleep. Went to sleep. I couldn't brush it off. And so the next day, the news was circulating, and we found out it was actually a 13-year-old young man. He was an A/B student. He was, into basketball and football, and he was just a sweetheart, right? Like he was just trying to live his best life and put his best foot forward. He wasn't in the streets or anything. A lot of times when people are out there getting shot, to be honest, they're still good, right? But no, he was actually a really good kid, and it was actually a case of mistaken identity. And it just really impacted me, and it impacted our community. Like it really traumatized everyone for that to happen. And what I ended up doing was saying, like, I got to get involved. I gotta, even though I was having a tough time to go at it, and I didn't feel I was worthy. I didn't feel that I was a role model. I didn't have anything in the form of worldly possessions to show that I had made it or that you should listen to me and take my advice. But I did feel that it was important that, young men and women had someone positive to look up to, had someone, you know, to take them to the side and, give them some life lessons and show them some positive attention and let them know that, hey, everything they're showing you in the media, that's not the way to go. Right. And so because I was always talking about it to my friends. I was always complaining about, oh yeah, look at how they're showing us in the videos and the the TVs and the movies, and everything is just programming us for negativity. And so I'm always preaching to the choir about that. And here's a young man that got shot, and I had been walking around the neighborhood, and that's the same thoughts I had. I would see the kids out here acting crazy, and I'm like, oh, someone needs to talk to them, right? And so I was convicted, basically. I was like, okay, I gotta do something. I don't care that I don't measure up according to myself. And I started going to meetings. And long story short, I eventually started a youth program. I got on the board of the directors of a nonprofit, and just eventually started, working with the city, and just so many different things were happening. And one of the points of this story is that I feel a lot of times when we're talking about this magnificent obsession, to catch everyone else up here, is 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 developing an obsession to actually give the best of yourself to others, your experience, your life, a kind word, a word of encouragement. And to what the way I see it is basically allowing the good of life, to flow through you, to be an uplift to other people, right? And to develop that into a session and just give, because the more you give, the more you get, the more you feel. I just read this list here. A kind word, a pleasant response, appreciation, warmth from the heart, encouragement, right? And a lot of times I feel like people don't feel worthy to actually, you know, uplift somebody. Oh, I'm not an inspiring person. I'm not a public speaker. I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm not eloquent, but you're a person, right? You're another person. You can put your hand on someone's shoulder. You don't have to say anything. You can just put your hand on their shoulder, right? You can say, I appreciate you, and mean it, you know, thank you. Little things, at the grocery store, you're buying your coffee, whatever, and just say thank you with that pause and let them know, let them see that you mean it, right? That can change a person's whole day and a whole outlook. Yes. Sure. See, we're talking about shifting realities here, right? And so, yeah, I went to a tanning salon, basically, and and it was a mix up. It was a mix up. So I just decided to keep going with it. And so I cut my hair, and they've been making all kind of provisions for us with the bathrooms and everything for the trans. So I was like, okay, you know, I look a little different from the picture, but the message hopefully is still resonating with everybody here. And it's about positive mental attitude, right? And so this magnificent obsession, it can grow. And I know from my own experience, like I said, I didn't just say, okay, I'm going to do something good in the world, and next thing you know, I'm leading neighborhood meetings all across the city. No, that's not what happened. What happened, I just went to one meeting, then I went to another, and then I started speaking at the meetings, and then I started giving ideas, and then they were like looking for me for ideas. And then, of course, if you keep on doing that, they're like, okay, why don't you do that? And I'm like, okay, right. And it just grows, because I feel there. We were talking about courage, because it does take courage. So let me keep going here. So, and I'll recap a little bit to catch everyone up. So this magnificent obsession was first brought out by Lloyd C. Douglas in a book called Magnificent Obsession, and is basically to develop an obsession to help others. Share yourself without expecting a reward, payment, or commendation. If you do this, you'll set in motion the powers of universal law, where try as you might, your payment for a good deed will be blessings and rewards that will be showered upon you. It's like the law of cause and effect, good out, good in. And you basically, the more good you give, what's left, you'll get more. You'll get more. And here he says, a magnificent obsession does take courage. You may need to stand alone in combating and repelling the ridicule and ignorance of the experts. Like great discoveries, creators, inventors, philosophers, and geniuses, you may be termed crazy, nuts, or crackpot. The experts say What you're trying to do can't be done. With your time, your burning desire and constant effort will bring your magnificent obsession into reality. When they say it can't be done, find a way to do it. And I have to say this is true, right? So when I started going to these meetings and everything, I'm like, okay, this is what we got to do, guys. We gotta get out there. We gotta talk to the kids, right? We let's start a program. Let's everyone just when you see somebody, just say, in the streets, just say hi, because most of these young men and women out here, they don't have any or very few adults just giving them some positive attention. Most of the time, they see an adult in the street, um, they they feel judged, right? They feel like, okay, I they're always telling us that we're doing something wrong, that we're no good. This generation is blah blah blah, right? But that's not what they need to hear, right? And so I'm like, we can do this. Like, we can actually change the whole city. Like, and well, no, they're no good. It is you, and they tell you all the problems, right? And I don't. I'm telling you, this is the experience, especially when you have this positive, like, okay, we're going to make a difference. Things are going to change, whatever your cause is. Whether it's women's safety or whether it's, um, fighting cancer or whatever it is. Usually, the person coming in there with that hope or that real desire to make a change will get just onslaughted with all the experts telling you uh, we have been working on this problem for years and it's never going to get better. And there's nothing that you can do because you're just one little person. I don't know why you're even talking. Like, you need, and I'm like, really? I'm like, you guys are the ones that call yourself the experts in addressing this issue, and this is what you believe. Like, I don't think you're really in the right line of work, and because you got to really yeah, you're not normal, right? It's like, hey, why aren't you with all of us over here who believe that this problem is insurmountable and that we're just all going to die, right? And I'm like, well, why are you doing it? Like, why are you even you to me, it should be a requirement of a job, that you actually believe it's going to become better. So let's see what Catherine had. I had a revelation on Monday. My husband has been struggling with not being content and he was snappy. I hate going to work on Monday. So I asked him to start thinking of a way to paint a word picture of his perfect Monday morning. See the possibility, dream it, and then we can make a plan to conceive it. Yes, yes. And so when I was in this community group, I went to this training. Like, the people in the neighbor that board that I eventually got on, they had started coming to the community group meetings, and they saw me, right, and they recognized those he had some leadership ability or potential or something, right. And so they sent me to this training in Kansas City, right. Kansas City is so weird because it's like in Kansas, it's in Oklahoma. I don't know. It's like right in the border. But anyway, it's a very interesting place and very beautiful. They have a lot of new architecture and everything. And it was just a wonderful experience because even though I was out here in the community doing all this positive stuff, I was still basically living very below the poverty line. And these conferences are very nice. You get very, 5-star hotels, all the good food, and I had these good cameras because I started this youth program. And of course, if you don't know, if you're doing a youth program, it's nonprofit, and you're still not making a lot of money, right? You're not really making any. But anyway, the point of it is, I'm at this retreat for that's everyone there is in community development or community organizing of some sort. And this woman, she was awesome. She gave this visualization that you could do with your community group. So I took it back, and that's what I did. It was one of the most transformative and powerful evenings that we had, and it took a lot of courage to do it because, like, I'm not the president of this group or the leader in anything. I was just a member that came. It's a neighborhood group. But I said, I went on this. I was excited, and I had called the president while I was out there. I was like, man, this stuff I can't believe people do this for a living. I want to do this. This is so awesome. And so when I came back, I said, I want to share this practice with you. And so basically, it's what you described, Catherine. We just closed our eyes and said, okay, imagine the community, how you want it to be. What would be this, in its pristine, in its most beautiful, right, in its most safe and harmonious. Like, what are we looking to accomplish? Say we were everything that we're out here trying to do, we accomplished it. What would that look like, right? And then it was like, oh, there's flowers, there's people walking down the street, the young people are talking to the old people, everyone, all the neighbors are saying hi to each other, and everyone, we just went around the table and everyone shared their vision, right? And then I guided them, and I was like, we are see that it's all like we are actually all creating a vision together. We are um, unifying and focusing. I didn't say all this at the same time, but now I know that's what we were doing, right? It's like a harmonizing of positive energy and positive focus. And when you create that shared vision, like if you do that with your husband, that just those two people together, that shared vision of what can be, you know, that gives you energy and focus and hope. There must be hope, right, for you to bring yourself to that next level. And I definitely have a magnificent obsession with hope, if you can't tell, with believing, with positivity, because I've seen the results and I know that you can, right? No, I don't care what they tell you. Think about everybody who's accomplished anything great or made, like he was talking about, the scientists who made the discoveries, the first, all the world's not flat, it's round. Nobody, oh, whatever. Like, we don't want to hear that, or we can imagine the person who thought of this, I know it was way back in Roman days with the water, right? But who said, we can actually pump, we can all have clean water. Like, I'm just still so amazed by the fact that we all have clean running water, right? It's just like really awesome, even though we all take it for granted. It's like an awesome accomplishment, or that we have these lights, right? Which I need to adjust mine here, but we just have these lights. We can just turn on and boom, it's night outside. Um, we have vaccinations, which I know there's. Let me not get into vaccinations. That's a hot topic. That's not the point of the discussion. Okay, but we have healthcare, right? I mean, we go to the grocery store and get food from all around the world. We expect it, right? We just like, if they didn't have bananas there, we would freak out, right? But there are that were thought to be just instrument. There's no way, you know, like Nikola Tesla, who brought us all this electricity, right? Um, or even socially, you know. I mean, I hate to bring this up, but imagine back in the what I don't know, 50s or something. People just thought, it's just, we're just always going to be separated. It's always going to be segregation, and we're just always just going to hate each other. I mean, that's just life. That's just the way it's going to be forever. Who are you to think that it can be better, right? Who are you to say that no, we are all here together and we can all love each other, right? And move forward with that hope. It's hope in the face of the the seemingly impossible. That's why I know nothing is impossible. So anyway, what I wanted to do is invite people to come in. And is there anybody who has inspired you with a magnificent obsession, or do you have one? Would you like to share it with us? I'll share mine with you right now. I believe that I'm always mentioning the 6 billion people because I feel that we're meant to be together, right? We're meant to talk to each other and connect and share our love and our light with each other in our experience. That is the true value in business, in religion, in family. It's actually, and that's what this is about. It's about sharing and caring for each other. And I really know and believe that our world is being transitioned into a place where that is what's most important rather than the bottom line of money. Yeah, right. And so people think that, and I just wholeheartedly believe that. I see the transition already happening, and I believe this before I even had this much evidence of it. But I know that we are moving into a world where the social bottom line is going to be more important than the monetary bottom line, because we're starting to recognize that everything that we're actually working for is actually for somebody, is for people. We're doing it because we want love and attention, or we want to give love and attention to others in a more powerful way. Like, I want to buy my wife a car. I want to send my kids to school. I want to give them good food. I want to have them live in a peaceful neighborhood. That's why I'm working. Well, what does that mean? you want to give of yourself. You want to give love, basically, right? And so when we just do that, develop an obsession to just do that, right? Because the funny thing about it is you don't need to have a lot of money to give love, right? Or attention, or compassion, or empathy, but don't get me wrong here. And the point of this chapter is not just giving good feelings and kind words, but you can start a foundation. You can you can take it to a whole nother level. But I just want to let you know that you can start where you are, right? You know, whether it's going to a shelter, right, a women's shelter, and just spending some time. They have where you can go play with their kids. Some of them are trying to get work. And so you can go, you know, spend some time. A lot of them have daycare, especially for the women, and you can spend some time playing with their kids or the people who are sick or whatever. You can do the same things at hospitals, and visit sick people. And there's so much. I mean, it doesn't even have to be people in that kind of dire straits, because that can be emotionally challenging and intimidating. It could just be, people in your community. I'm telling you, just saying hi to a neighbor, like, it takes courage, right? You just, like, we're all just trying to hide and go to work and go home, and it's like, I was listening to a comedian, hey Cindy, and he was talking about the difference nowadays when someone knocks on your door as to it was back in the day. Back in the day, when someone knocked on the door, it was like, oh, someone's here. Let's all go run to the door and see who's here. Someone finally stopped by, and now we can break out the good cake and we have company and all this other stuff. It's like, come on in. And someone's like, I just stopped by to see how you're doing, and your mom. Now you can go get the good silverware, right? You can go. It's like, it was such an exciting and positive time, right? And now it's like, someone's knocking at the door. Turn off the lights, close the shades, hide, get the gun. It's like, what is happening, right? It's like, we're trying to reach out to each other through our phones, and when we see each other, we're like, hey, oh, maybe we can take a selfie. And let me get back to my phone here, right? But when you just take a moment and say, hey, how are you doing? And stop, like, don't keep walking, like, stop and really see how they're doing, right? I think that's a magnificent obsession. And it's just such a positive return. So if anybody has a story or the seat is open, feel free to jump in. I have the PDF up here. Let me once again drop the link for the PDF as well. You can download, and there's more stuff you can download, some worksheets and everything. All right. So let's think about some more people who have developed a magnificent obsession and the results that it had. So I was describing Martin Luther King earlier. I didn't mention his name, and among other people in the civil rights era. But it can also be expressed in your business. It can be expressed, because I feel like business is also a way to share your value, to share your uniqueness with the world. And if it's something that you really feel that it's a benefit that you're giving, you can develop it into a magnificent obsession. And I think I like the word magnificent, because it invokes like a feeling of grandeur, of greatness. It's like beyond you. And I feel that that's what actually happens when you develop this. It's like you are uplifting others. I feel when you're uplifting others, they draw upon you as well. They draw out your greatness. They draw the value that you have to give when you have that intention. Like I say, it could even be in your business. Whatever your business is, whether it's, I know Cindy here. She has cows, right? People love what cows produce, right? And cows are fun. She likes them. They're fun to be around. She's always sharing great pictures and stuff. And so those are more happier cows, right? And they have a happier life, and they produce a better products and stuff. So, but I'm just trying to give an example. But you can be an accountant, I used this example the other day. I had an accountant in Boston, my business accountant, and I loved him. Like, he was just awesome. I hated accounting, but he was excited. I mean, he was good at it, right? He knows how to do the taxes. He knows how to, claim all the stuff, and he's excited. He's enthusiastic about it. He always had a smile when he saw me, hey, Christian, you know, and I'm like, man, this is an awesome accountant because he's giving of himself, not just his skill. He's using his skill to give his light to the world, to give his benefit, because people generally, don't enjoy accounting unless you just happen to like numbers and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm just projecting a little bit here, but whatever your thing is, do it with your heart, right? And show that you have the joy in doing it, right? And giving in that way, you can really increase the value of your business. This was part of my speech the other day. Maybe that's why I'm saying it, but it's true. When you give of your joy and your excitement and your passion and your commitment, your dedication. When you exude these values in your business, the value of your business increases, and you don't really have to change your structure or your pricing or anything. People will recognize that. People can see that, oh, this is actual human here that I'm dealing with, right? And they're giving of themselves. They actually care about what they're doing and they care about me. And that increases your referrals, and then which increases your revenue. Um, So yeah, there's a lot of people. One of them is Napoleon Hill, who had a magnificent obsession, right? I think we're all fans of his. He had an obsession to understand success and to share that with people. Look at the impact that has had. Just think about it. I mean, like, the whole self-development industry was basically uh, fathered and birthed through this man, right? I mean, there's others, Wallace D. Waddles. I mean, there's a lot of other people that have had that same obsession. That's where we're at. But when they started, it wasn't a big thing. Like, it wasn't a big. It was like a secret. Like, people just thought, money just somehow blessed these giants of industry, not recognizing that it was actually principles, and it was practices of mindset and action that actually led to this great success that everybody could apply. And now we're all here having a conversation about it because of people like Napoleon Hill and other people who have the obsession. Like, nowadays, I happen to like Bob Proctor, right? He's obsessed with Napoleon Hill too. He just reads the book over and over and over again, and he's built an empire around it, right? And practiced the principles. He started a cleaning company practicing the principles, you know. And so I think, when you can build a life around helping other people or a business around it, I think that's awesome. And it really, ultimately, all business is a business of helping other people because it's something they need. It's something that's alleviating a problem, or forming a solution for them. So you are helping them, and to get a blessing in return, with money or whatever, that's just an exchange of energy, right? Of appreciation. That's the way I like to see it. And so we all have that ability to use that same principle in business as well. However, this is really, really, really about just doing it because. And he talks about how it returns, and I can definitely say it does. The more you give, the more you have. And when I say the more you give, the more you have, I'm not talking about just money. I'm also talking about positivity, like just feeling good. It's uplifting to say a kind word to somebody. It's scary at first. You're like, oh, you know, I'm not this great person. Oh, who am I to say, hey, it's going to be okay, or I've been thinking about you, and I just wanted to make sure everything is all right with you. And they may tell you the sob story of the world, and you're like, uh, I don't have anything to give you, but I feel you. It's like, I'm here. And I just want to let you know that I care about you. That can change the whole situation for somebody. A lot of times, that's just what people need. It's just someone who actually cares. Have the run. 20-year. Okay. Thanks, Catherine, for stopping by. 20-year-old. That sounds like me, right? I'm going to eat everything. Uh, 10, 20. Okay. Um, a 10-year-old. That makes more sense. Okay. Yeah. You could leave me alone in the kitchen. I may eat everything, but I won't destroy it. I'll probably make a good meal. Okay. Well, thank you for joining me. So, has anybody touched you? I had this idea to say, if anybody has, through their magnificent obsession, positively affected your life, please come in and share. Has anybody shared a kind word, or really did something, said something, or gave you something that really just shifted your day and maybe even your life? You know, um, please come in and share. I'd love to hear. Have you ever had an impact on somebody? And a lot of time, I think sometimes we don't notice it, right? Or we just keep going. But if you really think about it, like a teacher maybe in school that showed you a little extra attention or really believed in you when no one else did, or a friend, a friend that was there, maybe they are even not in your life anymore now, but they were there at a time when you needed them to be there, right? When things were falling apart and somebody was just there for you, right? Um, or even a business person, sometimes like that accountant, he did a lot of business for me way below his rate, right? It was a win-win. He knew I was a community organizer and I knew a lot of people in the community, but it really made me feel like a real business person, right? It kind of birthed me into this world where I didn't feel that I belonged yet, And so when I filed my business taxes, I was like, oh, I'm a real business now. Yeah. And the IRS hasn't forgot that fact, but it was a good thing. um, so can you think of somebody that has affected you in a positive way with their magnificent obsession? I'd love for you to come in and talk to me. I'd really appreciate it. All right. Ha. Here's a magnificent obsession I think everyone has been touched by: family, right? Your mother, your father, and these people seem to always be there and care about you. We've actually started to take them for granted. It's like, hey, I need someone to care about my problem that no one seems to want to listen to. Let me call my mother and talk to her about this that she has no idea about it or even what I'm talking about, but she's going to say, yeah, it's going to be okay, honey, right? They have an obsession for our heart, right? I think that's awesome. I got to stop saying right. I sound like a teenager. Anyway, I do have a little bit of obsession with teenagers. I like, uh, in a positive way. I mean, I like showing positive attention and uh, treating them like adults and listening to them, um, or young people. I think a lot of times young people are given the judgment stick all the time, right? It's like, what is that person doing wrong? We we see a teenager like, oh, they're on their phones. Oh, they're all bad, right? They're listening to crazy music that has no value. Back in the day, my music was blah blah blah, right? And so that's what I do, and so I say hi, and I take a little bit of an interest in what they're doing and what they like to do, right? Do you draw? Yes. Let me see your drawings. That's nice. That's cool. Do you want to be a designer, right? Um, how how can you help somebody let their talent grow? When you see somebody doing something and it's a risk, especially when it's their first time, and the truth about it is most people aren't in, you weren't either good when you first started something new that you were actually very passionate about, right? Even prodigies don't start out playing Mozart, right? They may be very, very good compared to everyone else, but they spend hours and hours and hours of practice. And how they get that way is by the encouragement of the people around them. So I encourage everyone here to encourage each other and really, really give the best of themselves to others. That which you share with others will multiply, and that which you withhold will diminish. Think about that. What do you want to multiply? Are you sharing it with others? Oh, I want someone to care about me. Are you caring about other people? I want more money. Are you giving any money to anybody, right? Or to any cause that matters? I want more creativity. Are you giving any kind of creativity? It's like a lot of people talk about creativity a lot, and I do too. I just happen to like creativity. Um, and it goes to the same thing, like, oh, I got to be able to draw this beautiful thing, and what I draw sucks. Well, so what? You're giving your effort. You're giving your what that creativity you have, and it will increase with time. Okay. It says how to raise your. Oh, that's the next chapter. Okay, I'm going to sit here because I know uh, some people here have been positively affected by someone's magnificent obsession or have one of their own, and I really want to hear about it. Okay, so I'm going to read this here. It's called If. I believe it's from the book Your Magnificent Obsession. I don't know. It's from this book here. Okay. If you do your best to try never to violate your honor by lying or cheating, and always try to fulfill the responsibility with which you are entrusted. If you keep clean in thought and body, if you exemplify clean habits, clean speech, clean sport, if you associate with a clean crowd, if you stand up for the rights of others against the undesirable influence and coaxing of friends and threats of enemies, if defeat inspires you to succeed, if you have the courage to face danger in spite of fear, if you work faithfully and make the best of your opportunities, if you don't wantonly destroy property, if you save money so that you can pay your own way in this world and yet be generous to those in need and give financial help and time to worthy causes, if you do a good turn each day without expecting compensation, if you are a friend to all and a brother to every living man, woman, and child, regardless of race, color, or creed, if you are prepared to learn to know dangers, to avoid negligence, and to know the remedies necessary to help injured persons and save human lives, to share the duties and responsibilities in your home and place of business. If you are polite to all, especially the weak, helpless, and unfortunate. If you will not kill or hurt any living creature needlessly, but strive to protect all living animals. If you smile when you can, do your work promptly and cheerfully, and if you never shirk or grumble at responsibilities or hardships. If you are loyal to all to whom loyalty is due, to the members of your family, the firm for which you work, and your country, If you respect duly constituted authorities and obey that which does not violate your moral code. If you do your best to your duty to God and your country, to help other people at all times, to keep yourself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight, then you live and act in response to the imprint in your subconscious mind of the oath and law of the Boy Scouts of America. And what kind of person would you be if you lived up to these standards? America is great because its people live by a great philosophy. So that was really, really good, right? It's like if I give the best of myself that I can at all times, what will my life be like? What would my future be like? I like to have that kind of thought. How am I feeling right now? Can I feel better? Can I just be happy about right now? Can I share that? Can I share my peace? Can I share any kind of wisdom? Can I share just a positive presence? And sharing that positivity, that light, that life that we have, right? That courage, that integrity, right? Is there something that I said I was going to do that I don't want to do and I'm trying to get out of it? Why? I don't know. I think I should try to get into it, right? Because that builds trust, that builds um, uh, reliability. People need people they can depend on, right? That builds honor, right? In me and in the other person, you know. When you give of your best, that is reflected in the other person. I've seen this countless times, especially in the youth. They come in, they have been, reflected to in negative ways, maybe in school or in the neighborhood. All these are gangsters, these are thugs, these kids ain't no good. But when they come in my room, no, you guys are awesome. You love each other. We don't talk bad about each other. I think you guys are all talented and you're going to live an awesome life. And their behavior shifts, it changes. Did they change? Or I don't know. But it has a positive effect on adults, on everybody. It's not just kids. You know, when you look and you see the best in the other person and you let them know that you see it, that is a magnificent obsession of mine. Um, Mr. C. Will here. So that's my avatar up there with the sun. So I'm just working on this tan, Charlene here. But anyway, let me stop with that joke. But the point I'm getting here is really take a moment and see the best in yourself and others, right? That's what this if was about. Like, what if I just lived my best life, right? What if I just really believed in myself and know that I can actually make a positive difference? What if I just tried, right? What if I like when I started, I didn't even believe it. I didn't, but I said I got to do something, right? I'm going to just try to do this, right? You don't have to believe I'm going to be this great inspiration for everybody and everyone is just going to be blessed by my presence and my words. But no, I'm going to make the effort to 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 say something good to somebody today, to leave a positive impact, to pay, for the person's coffee behind me or three people behind you. It's better if you do it for like, okay, the third person that comes behind me. That way they can't chase you down and try to pay you back or, you know, it doesn't have to get too awkward, right? But pay it forward. That's the idea is to give without the expectation of return, right? Um, and your return will be beyond, what you can believe. And I'm speaking from experience. Uh, it's just the best thing, right? Um, that's when you really get that understanding of why there are so many of us that I keep on talking about, right? Why you're born into the family that you're born into, right? Because a lot of them can be tough. right? But it's like, okay, what is the requirement of family? You got to love them anyway, right? It's like, how can you do that? Maybe you don't talk to them, but I still send love, and when I do see them, I give love, right? And I try and I want to get better at that. But everyone I see that they're awesome. Within them is the life that powers everything, you know, that makes the stars and the flowers and the same life that makes Gandhi and all these great people, Abraham Lincoln and Martin Luther King, any great person that you can think of. It's within every one of us, right? And that greatness is within you, and it's within them. And acknowledging it in other people, acknowledging, oh, you have a beautiful smile, or I really like what you said. I like that post, that you put on Facebook or whatever. It's really not that hard, but it really makes a big difference in other people. So I encourage you to do that. I have just a couple minutes here, and then I'm gonna get off my soapbox and read the next chapter so I can be ready for tomorrow. But I want to thank everybody for taking the time to listen and to be here. If I'm playing in the background or wherever, just keep going through your day being your best self, right? When you find yourself getting down or discouraged, just take a moment and say, you know what? Everything is okay. Like, really, I can just relax. I'm going to get back to work in 3 seconds. I'm just going to breathe here and remind myself, I'm actually in America, right? That's a huge advantage for most people. I don't know if you're actually in America. Let me not say that. But I'm alive. I have my sound mind. You know, I have people that I care about. A lot of people complain about, oh, nobody cares about me. Do you care about anybody? Right? Spend some time caring about and showing them that you care about them. That's the point of this whole magnificent obsession, right? Is showing people that you care. Whether it's a phone call, can you call somebody today that you haven't called in a while that you actually do care about? Send them a message saying, I was just thinking about you. I hope you're doing good. What about one of those thousands of Facebook friends that you don't actually talk to, right? Just send one of them a message. Um, and that is where I have the hope for the world, because I know that shift is happening. More and more people are starting to do this, right? As we become more aware of ourselves and try to make ourselves better people, just spend a minute, of your time or more doing the same for someone else, because that positive attention, that recognition of the greatness within them helps to create a shift in them that may have took you years to make. And don't, oh, well, they don't have to put in the work. Oh, I put in all this work to become a better person, and all it takes is a couple kind words from me, and they have broken through. Yes, isn't that awesome? Like, that can be true, right? I think that's awesome. All the years and suffering that you went through, you can actually make a shift in someone else's life. By giving them some kind words or by spending some time with them. I think that's awesome. So give up yourself, and I just have 3 minutes here. So when you share with others a part of what you have, that which remains will multiply and grow. You can develop your own magnificent obsession by becoming part of a good cause. So here I'm reading the summary point here. Character is the cornerstone in building and maintaining success. How can you improve your own character? That's part of this morning mindset. We're building each other's character every day. It's positive focus. There is something infinitely better than making a living. Is it making a noble life? Do you believe this? If you do, what will you do about it? Let me go back to the idea of character just for 1 second, because this is a lot about personal development here, and that's what we're about. And I wanted to say that making yourself better makes everyone else around you better. It has a tremendous impact on the rest of the world. Um, and so, like when I was talking about integrity, or follow through, or optimism, in the face of, you know, anything, it really does have a positive effect. Okay. A burning desire can generate the drive to action that is imperative to achievement. To, de- to develop a burning desire to achieve a specific goal, daily keep the goal before you and strive to achieve it. It takes courage and sacrifice to develop and maintain a magnificent obsession. You may need to stand alone against the ridicule of others. Some people say money is the root of all evil, but the Bible says love of money is the root of all evil. The good or evil of money is contingent on a little difference. The difference is whether your attitude is positive or negative. Really, money is just an amplifier, right? And we're all good and bad. We have virtues and vices. So you can actually amplify your virtues with your money. If you don't, there's some people who don't want to get money because they don't trust themselves. Well, I'll tell you what you do. Give your money to positive causes. Give your money to people who are actually eliminating the vices that you may have. Meaning, if you have a problem with such and such, there's always someone out there making a solution for that. Give your money to those people, right? If you have a problem with actually giving compassion and caring to other people, give your money to people who do that, right? Anything in life worth having is worth working for. When you are asked to give money or time to a worthy cause, repeat to yourself, "What? Giving again?" I asked in dismay. And what must I keep giving and giving away? "Oh no," said the angel looking me through. "Just keep giving till the master stops giving to you. That which you share with others will multiply, and that which you withhold will diminish." So give of your best to others. And thank everyone for joining me today. I'm going to go ahead and give the outro and stop the recording. Let's move forward with the day on purpose, with purpose. Grow our hearts, grow our minds, and grow our businesses. Thank you. I've been your host today, Christian Williams, standing in for Charlene Burke with Grow Because You Know. Everyone have a great, great day.